Hello and happy belated Valentine's Day to all. I just really was just pressed upon my heart to come on very briefly and just share my thoughts on Valentine's Day and holidays that has to do with or associated with relationship. After being married 32 years and divorced and now remarried for 3 years, in between those times where I was um, not in a relationship after being in one basically more than half of my life, I found the holidays being a struggle. Um, but it was during those times that I realized that every day is what we make it. And so after being not in a relationship, being separated and then finally divorced, it took me a couple of years to figure out what Valentine's Day, Christmas, Sweetest Day, what that would look like. But even though it was a hard season of my life, it turned out to be a great season and change for me. It helped me to realize that I don't need anyone to celebrate me. I mean, it's great when you have someone that loves and celebrates you, of course. But just the way this world is set up, um, it makes you look at yourself and go into this dark place because you don't have a date or you don't have a Valentine. That's why when I raised my children, I made sure that I bought them gifts for Valentine's Day. I wanted them to understand that you don't have to have a boyfriend. You don't have to be in a relationship to experience love, just to experience that someone cares or even thought about you. And so as I sit here and even talking to some friends who are married and stated that their husband didn't even acknowledge that it was Valentine's Day and the desires that they had, I had to share with them, we even being married or in a relationship or not in a relationship, it's very important that we learn to love ourselves. It's very important that we learn to date ourselves. And so I went through a rough patch in my life. I got married at 18, had three beautiful children, but at some point, a great marriage and love turned into almost a nightmare, and took me into a very dark place for many of years. And I really thought that I would not ever experience true joy and happiness. I used to hear people talk about starting over, or I would hear people talk about their marriage and the things that they were experiencing in their marriages. And when I was in between just being single after being married for 32 years, it was very rough. And so I really want to help not just women, but particularly women, but individuals that are in between relationships or um, is living a new normal, and trying to embrace that and what that feels like. But I was able to turn what used to be a happy time for me, holidays, back to that, and realizing that find things to do for myself, not always relying on others for my happiness. And I didn't realize that that's what I had done consciously. But even now that I'm very blessed to have the husband that I have, and I've heard people testify like that because I believe in God, and I was raised in church. And so when I would hear those type of testimonies, I felt like at some point people would get up and say those things, because other people are saying it or just by default. And I've always wanted to be genuinely speaking what was real. Because my thing is, you have to be real if you want to be healed. That's a saying that I have. I have a women's group called Women Being Made Whole. I have my YouTube page, I Am My Sister's Keeper. And that page is basically to keep sisters or people from experiencing disappointment and hurt that they don't have to. And the way that is done is by people like myself being upfront and being transparent and willing to be vulnerable. And so I just was led to come on to just say that I don't know what your Valentine's Day was like. I've heard people say, "Oh, this is man-made. It's marketing. It's to sell, to get sales, and all of that." And talked about how it was generated. Whether and all of that may be true, but just make sure that you not celebrating Valentine's Day or your outlook on it, especially if it's negative. Just search your heart and see if it's coming from a negative place, seeing if it's coming from a hurtful place, and begin to embrace just life. Valentine's Day is just another day, but it's still a part of life. And so don't allow those things in the world or life experiences to cause you to downplay any day that the Lord allowed you to see. Embrace it wholeheartedly. I never thought that I would be able to experience love, true love, a man that really cares for me, that loves me, that caters to me. And I've heard people testify about it, but now I can testify. But again, it was without it was through great pain and disappointment and embarrassment and abuse that I experienced, but God turned it around for my good. And it caused me in those seasons to learn to love Valerie, to learn to embrace myself, to learn to date myself. And so as I began to heal prior to being remarried, my friend and I, we both had went through divorce, and we said, why are we just sitting around like, oh, well, we not in a relationship, so we didn't celebrate. So we decided the holidays, sweetest day, Valentine's Day, we would get up, get dressed, we'll go out to dinner, or we'll go to the movies, or find an event to go to. But it's very important that whether you're married, whether you are a mother, whatever your role is in life, that you always choose yourself first. So I pray that the upcoming days, holidays, that you would look at it in a different light and just embrace it and give thanks to God that He allowed you to see another day, and love on yourself. Even though I am happily married now, I told my husband, I didn't wasn't up to going out anywhere. So we went and he got me my favorite Thai food. Told him I wanted a lemon cake and some ice cream. We went to Kroger, got lemon cake and ice cream, came home and went to sleep. But I'm just grateful to be alive. And so don't allow the enemy to cause you to not embrace life. This is the day, every day God has given us. Rejoice and be glad in it. So I pray that this was encouraging. I just felt the need to share this. I really want to help walk people, mainly women, through just divorce. If you're going through divorce, if you're going through issues with your children, I've been there, done that. If you're going through issues within your body, been there, done that. And I am a testament that you can overcome it. And this is not a default um, testimony or anything like that. It's not to get subscribers. This is real stuff. And so I went through many years before getting married again, depressed, experienced anxiety, hospitalized, but look at me now because I chose to love me. And so even though I'm remarried, I've learned from previous marriage. And while I was single for that period of time, I've learned to love me, to not give so too much to others that I don't give anything to myself. That's as a mother, that's as a wife, that's as just as an individual. So lift your head up, my sister, lift your head up, my brother, and enjoy this day, this life that God has given us. You may be in a rough patch now, but keep moving. Don't stop. Don't get stuck. And when I say don't get stuck, that means depression. That means isolation. There were days I had to force myself to get up and get dressed. There were days I had to do that because I didn't force myself to eat. So I will be coming on more and sharing. And I would like to even do lives where we can dialogue and you can share with me where you at and I can walk you through it. I am a minister, licensed minister, and I'm also a family life coach. So embrace life. No matter what the season is, no matter what the holiday is, just be thankful to be alive. So have a great day and make it about yourself. Love you.